Não, com certeza.
Yeah, there's definitely a
Cara,
rivalry. He's said a lot, and now he's got to face it. And yeah, he definitely looks like he's a little bit scared. I don't know.
eu não falei nada, ele sempre falou. Eu nunca falei nada. Ele sempre falou. E agora, quando chegou frente a frente, é cuzão.
I think both guys would be massive for sure. Fighting Pereira would be historical. Massive. He's got a big following. Everyone loves the guy.
Alex Pereira has sparked headlines ahead of UFC 320, claiming Magomed Ankalaev is terrified. Pointing to their first clash as proof, Pereira questions Ankalaev's mentality, leaving fans wondering if the Russian can overcome the pressure in their rematch. Meanwhile, as the Pereira vs. Ankalaev fight was announced, Kamaru Usman and Henry shared their thoughts. Usman said Pereira's biggest chance is his knockout power. He questioned whether Ankalaev can rely on wrestling or jiu-jitsu to win, but Che Judo disagreed, saying Ankalaev has more skills than people think, and just because he doesn't always use them doesn't mean he doesn't have them.
I think Ankalaev is just different, bro. Like the only chance that to me Pereira has is just power catching him. Magomed Ankalaev. Yeah, bro, it's power. It's power. What's he gonna wrestle? He's gonna do jiu-jitsu? What's he gonna do, Kamaru Dean? Honestly, dude, I'm not hating. I'm just telling the fucking truth.
I mean,
but
he got some jiu-jitsu.
Pereira? No, come on, Kush. Oh my God. I'm gonna call Lee, dude. I'm gonna call Lee after this.
What?
Jesus,
what?
dude.
Just because, okay, listen.
You're just being negative, Nancy. No,
listen to me. Just because he doesn't have to use it in the octagon means he doesn't have jiu-jitsu.
Kamaru, we all know.
We saw GC try to grab that single, and he showed DC, hey, I got the D now. Pause.
And DC is also paid by the UFC, if you didn't know.
Henry continued by pointing out Ankalaev's defense in past fights, saying he knows how to handle takedowns. He compared fighting styles, mentioning Oldberg and Israel Adesanya. According to him, they use patience and timing to break down their opponents. Cejudo reminded everyone that in MMA, one punch with small gloves can end a fight, which is why Pereira's power makes him so dangerous against any opponent.
But anyways, let's talk about Oldberg, man. His style was very, very similar to what Israel Adesanya does. They like to be patient. They tease.
City kickboxing stable, mate.
Yes, they break the foundation, and then the hands and everything starts coming. But this is the sport of mixed martial arts, bro, where it only takes 7 pounds of pressure with that beautiful MMA glove to put you the hell out. Remember, dude, with Dominic Reyes has, we thought he was going to get cut. He went 4 in a row, bro, looting in brutal fashion. Dude, the way that Yuri Prochazka hit him with that elbow, dude, I thought he was done.
Before discussing the rematch, Alex Pereira opened up about his first fight with Magomed Ankalaev. He admitted he wasn't at his best physically and felt compromised. Pereira also shared a recent moment at the UFC Performance Institute where he noticed Ankalaev's unusual behavior and believed it showed nervousness heading into their next meeting.
Nah, I'm always chill. I'm always cool. And I think Ankalaev got a little upset because yesterday the PI, he had to hide from me, and then the girl said that he was hiding over there. Then I think he saw the thing on my YouTube channel, and then he was a little upset today, but for sure he was scared yesterday, that's why he had to hide.
Pereira continued by explaining that he never feels stressed before fights. He said he stays relaxed and focused with his team, while Ankalaev looks uncomfortable. According to Pereira, videos on his channel show him always calm, joking, and confident. In contrast, he believes Ankalaev is the one showing nerves, suggesting the Russian is struggling more with pressure as their rematch gets closer.
For me, it makes no difference. I'm always cool, I'm normal. You know what I mean? He's the one that seemed nervous, seemed to be a little scared. If you see all the videos on my channel, like me and the team, always talking, always cool. So, you know what I mean? He's the one that seemed to be affected more by it.
Amid these brutal allegations and trolling by Alex, Magomed Ankalaev explained why he lost respect for his opponent. He said a video made it look like he was hiding, which wasn't true, and made him angry. When he asked Pereira about it, Pereira changed the topic. Ankalaev felt frustrated and said Pereira spoke angrily and disrespectfully about him as a champion.
And then after I finished, I came out, I was told that Pereira was there. I didn't see him. And then the next day, I see a video come out where he says that I was hiding and stuff like that, which is not true. And I was a little angry when I saw the video. So then when I saw him today, I approached him. I said, hey, when did I see you, or when did you see me? It never happened. And to which he answered, he said, oh, there was one girl who told me that you were there, but he he switched the topic, you know.
However, looking ahead to the rematch, Pereira shared his excitement and motivation for Fight Week. He described having a strong training camp and feeling physically ready. Pereira also addressed the tension between him and Ankalaev, noting a clear rivalry. While he stayed confident, he suggested that Ankalaev appears nervous, hinting that the Russian may be feeling the pressure as they prepare to face each other again.
I'm definitely excited, definitely very motivated. You know, I had a really good camp, did a lot of good things, and I feel really well right now.
We saw you and Ankalaev come face to face at the Performance Institute. Is there bad blood between you guys heading into the fight next week?
No, com certeza.
Yeah, there's definitely a rivalry. You know, he said a lot, and now he's got to face it. And yeah, he definitely looks like he's a little bit scared. I don't know.
Tensions have been building between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev ahead of their UFC 320 rematch. Both fighters have exchanged words in interviews and on social media, but Pereira wants the talk to end. He explained that while he stayed quiet before, Ankalaev kept speaking. Now, with the face-to-face meeting at the Performance Institute, Pereira emphasized that the real action will happen inside the octagon.
Давайте сделаем это в ринге. Зачем говорить пустые слова?
Ele falou, cara, na verdade a gente vai lutar no dia 4 de outubro, a gente não tem que trocar palavras mais. Eu não falei nada, ele sempre falou. Eu nunca falei nada, ele sempre falou. E agora quando chegou frente a frente é cuzão.
On the other side, Chael Sonnen talked about Pereira and Ankalaev's training. He explained that Ankalaev stayed in a different room while Pereira and his team worked out. Some call this hiding, but Sonnen said it's normal. Fighters often wait their turn in shared gyms so they don't disturb each other or break focus, and it doesn't mean anyone is scared.
Ankalaev hides in a room until Pierre was done. Ankalaev is going to come in the room, he's going to do his own workout. He sees Pierre and his team are in there, and he hides in a different room until he sees that Pierre is gone, and then he comes out. All right. Well, the word hide seems to be used as a pejorative. It seems to be used as though it was a fear. He was fearful to coming out. He was hiding. As opposed to, turned out their times overlapped. Pierre had got there first, so I waited until he was done. That sounds like the one that you would do. I don't know that it would have been impolite to come into the same room that your opponent was in first and then go find a little mat space and start doing your own workout, but now you're both working out, and that's unusual.
Furthermore, Sonnen also talked about how fighters should behave when sharing a training space. He asked what happens if one team is already in the room. Should the other team talk, watch, or just wait? Sonnen said there's a polite way to handle it. Respecting who arrived first helps avoid awkwardness and keeps training professional, even when big fights are coming up.
That's uncivilized. And I would be curious. I don't think that Pierre has done anything wrong. I don't even think that Pierre has said anything wrong, but I am curious. Does Pereira think it should have been done the other way? That Ankalaev and his team get there, see Pereira and his team, and then they enter the room. And what does it do? They do when they get there? Do they talk and they wait? Do they stand there and they stare right at you? Do they find an open place and they do their workout? When you're done working out, do you leave, or do you and your team come over and sit and watch them work? I mean, do you see where it gets a little bit weird? There's a civilized way to do things. There's even a polite way to do things.
Sonnen continued by thinking about Ankalaev's choices. He asked whether he should greet, look away, or wait to work out. He said going to a different room avoids tension and makes things comfortable for everyone. Sonnen explained that following simple rules of respect keeps training smooth, fair, and organized, even when both fighters are preparing for an important matchup.
The polite manual says that you show by custom whoever got there first. I think Ankalaev handled this perfectly, but he is now he's arguing this. He's arguing the entire story. So is that to imply that if Ankalaev could do it again, that he would have entered the room? And if he did, what would have he done? Would he say hello or not? Would he look at him or would he look away? Like, you've only got a couple of options. Would you begin working out or would you wait to work out? If you're going to wait to work out in a different room so it's not weird for everybody else.
Moving on, the talk around Alex Pereira's rematch has been intense both inside and outside the octagon. Analysts and reporters have tried to understand why Pereira seems extra motivated this time. Ben Fowkes explained that after Pereira's first loss, there wasn't much excitement for a rematch. Still, Pereira's determination and trash-talking show he's focused on proving himself and regaining momentum in front of fans and opponents alike.
I mean, it should, right? Because we were very, very excited about Alex Pereira. And he lost this fight, which nobody was exactly hair on fire for the matchup to begin with. He loses the fight. We decide we're going to do a rematch basically because we don't have anything better to do. And you don't exactly feel a ton of enthusiasm and energy for the rematch. And so the people they feel the need to step up here and try to deliver a little something. And also maybe like that we're seeing one way you get under Alex Pereira's skin a little more is just he was having such a great run there, then he lost one and he kind of couldn't stand it. And so now he becomes obsessed with getting back in there and doing it again. I don't know. It still feels like it's like anytime you have to do your trash talking across language barriers and the help of modern translation technology, you can't help but lose a little something. Yeah.
Fowkes also talked about Pereira's reaction to social media. He explained that during a call, Pereira kept focusing on posts he didn't write, insisting he hadn't authored a single tweet. Even though the conversation was meant to be about other topics, Pereira repeatedly brought up social media, making it clear he wanted no questions about it. This left everyone on the call a bit confused and frustrated.
And we were talking about something completely different, and I might have mentioned something about like something that had showed up on one of his social media, and he really seized on that, and he kept making a point to tell me about how he himself had never authored a single tweet. And he kept saying, he kept repeating, not one tweet. I write not one tweet. And he was basically saying like, hey, don't ask me about anything you see on there. I don't even know what's on there.
Wow.
But it was one of those kind of calls where it's like, the UFC sets it up, they're listening in, here are the calls going, all that kind of stuff. He kept talking about the social media stuff, even though we were trying to talk about something completely different. And then afterwards, whoever was listening in on the UFC side must have told their boss, like, I don't know what they were talking about, something about social media, and George seemed pretty fired up. And so they reached out to me and they're like, I thought you guys were going to talk about this. What happened there? And I was like, brother, I wish I knew. I wish I could tell you what happened there.
Building on Pereira's focus and intensity, Chuck Mindenhall explained how the first fight felt slow and anticlimactic. While Pereira was clearly motivated, he held back, and Ankalaev didn't push the pace either. Mindenhall noted that this made the fight feel dull for fans and the UFC, highlighting why the rematch is so important for Pereira to regain momentum and deliver a more exciting performance.
Everybody was speculating that Pereira should be fighting this guy, going up to heavyweight, whatever it is. But then you get the fight, and it's every bit the kind of like to what his personality is. That's what this fight was. It was Ankalaev is just, there wasn't much to it. It felt very much like Pereira wasn't letting go. He's very kind of holstered through most of this fight. You're waiting for him to come to life. It never really happens. You're waiting for takedowns maybe too. They don't really happen. So it just kind of plays out in a very dull way. And sometimes when that happens, even though the guy that the company probably wants to win, obviously for marketability and for bigger fights, and the fans want to win because it was like a party while Pereira's winning, loses, you're kind of like worried that you're going to get the same thing, right? Like it's just going to be this anticlimactic now 0-2 hole that he's dealing with. And I feel like that's part of what's going on with this fight too.
Meanwhile, sharing his take on the narrative that the first fight felt dull, the MMA guru explained that contrary to popular belief, Pereira is exciting to watch. Some people don't want him as champion, but his energy stands out. Even if Ankalaev stays quiet online, Pereira makes the moments interesting with tweets and in-person actions. The guru said this is more entertaining than what most other champions do, keeping fans engaged in the fight week lively.
They don't want Alex Pereira as champion for some wild reason. Of course you want Pereira as champ, but Ankalaev as champion here. He's been talking shit on Twitter if it really is him and not Ali Abdelaziz. And now he's causing in-person interactions. That's all I want. Okay? So you know what? Even if we aren't going to hear from Ankalaev outside of a tweet now and then that may or may not be Ali Abdelaziz in between his fights, if he's getting in people's face on fight week and having some of these moments, I'm all for it. This is better than anything any other champion is going to give us on the roster. I mean, you go through all of them. Pantoja at flyweight, we're never going to see something like this with him and an opponent. Merab, maybe we'll get some interactions with Merab.
He explained how Pereira stayed calm and confident when facing Ankalaev. While Ankalaev reacted nervously, Pereira just chewed gum and watched. He could have escalated the situation through his team, but chose to stay composed. This showed his mental strength and ability to control the energy during fight week, making him look in control without needing to act aggressively.
Volkanovski, we're not going to see anything like this really. It's like, you know what? I'm all right with this. They talked a little bit back and forth, and now Ankalaev is crashing out, and he's getting up, and he's standing up, while Alex Pereira continues to chew his gum. And Polino's like, listen, you want me to eat this guy? Just give me the words. You know what I mean? All Pereira needed to do was go, and Polino would have absorbed Ankalaev on the spot. Okay? But that's not the only moment, because this was also there. Ankalaev was saying on Twitter before, a lot of people misconstrued this. If they don't have I think this is what was really going down here, because it says in this clip.
Finally, the guru described a key moment. Pereira read Ankalaev's translated Twitter messages in front of him and quietly signaled, "Are you going to do it?" People thought it was a threat, but it was more about showing control. Pereira's calm and confident behavior made the interaction tense and exciting, giving fans a unique glimpse of his mindset ahead of UFC 320.
Alex Pereira was seen reading Magomed Ankalaev's translated message in front of him when they ran into each other ahead of UFC 320. Now, everyone sort of jumped the gun originally, but now these clips have came out. Ankalaev was saying this on Twitter. I'm going to slap you in your face and all of this stuff when it comes to the rematch that they were going to have. And Alex Pereira was essentially playing it back to him and then sort of looking at him to say, are you going to do it then? You know what I mean? Some people are saying, you know, Blood had 25 minutes to last time and he landed 11 shots to the head. People are going after Alex Pereira here, thinking that Pereira is threatening Ankalaev. But really what's happening is he's reading what Ankalaev's been saying on Twitter in front of him.
After seeing how Pereira stayed calm and confident, Carlos Ulberg talked about fighting the best. He said beating top fighters like Ankalaev or popular opponents shows who is really the best. Just like Pereira controlled the situation with confidence, Ulberg explained that facing the toughest competition proves a fighter's skill, earns respect, and shows they truly belong at the top of MMA.
I think both guys would be massive for sure. Fighting Pereira will be historical, massive. He's got a big following. Everyone loves the guy. And finishing someone like him would be awesome or fighting someone like him would be great on its own. But then when you look at Ankalaev, who's been dominant and he's also beaten Pereira, you beat someone like him, it just means you're at the top. It means no one can touch you. And that's what I want. I want to make sure I beat the best. So if you want to be the best, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And right now, I'm the man.
Building on his thoughts about challenging the best, Ulberg said he isn't predicting the fight. He respects both competitors and feels nothing would change in the matchup. What excites him most is being there in person to watch it live. For Ulberg, seeing the fight up close and experiencing the energy of the event is just as important as who wins.
No prediction at this point. But I mean, I feel like nothing changes in that fight. And yeah, I wish the boys all the best of luck for their fight. And I'll be there to witness it. And that's the coolest thing is actually just going there and being a part of that event and just seeing it from my own eyes.
The tension between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev has reached its peak. Pereira's unmatched confidence and mental control stand in sharp contrast to Ankalaev, who seems weighed down by pressure as fight week unfolds. Fans have watched the trash talk, face-to-face encounters, and intense training sessions, all signaling a clash that promises fireworks. Every strike and every movement in the octagon now carries the history of their rivalry, and this battle isn't just physical, it's a test of mindset, preparation, and nerves. With respect, legacy, and supremacy on the line, the stage is set for an unforgettable showdown. Who do you think will handle the pressure better in UFC 320? Alex Pereira with his calm confidence, or Magomed Ankalaev facing the tension head-on? Comment below and let us know your prediction.